Welcome to the Ask Lee slot, and as always, if you have a question which you would like me to answer in this slot on video, or if you listen on the podcast audio, then ask them in the comments below to one of these Ask Lee videos. If you put your question into another video, I'm not going to air it on here. So if it's a bit more personal, a bit more private, put it on one of the other videos and I'll answer it in the comments. If it's very private, you can obviously email me. My email is in somewhere up here if you're on YouTube. Somewhere around you'll find my email. Alright, so let's get into today's questions. First one, or first two actually, is two questions, is from NA. Question 1. Are there any spirits and practices that can get you ready for HGA, HGD, Rite, so that it doesn't take 7 years to a decade for your mind and body to readjust? This is obviously a question that came up after our last look at the Holy Guardian Angel, Holy Guardian Demon, personal demon, whatever you want to call it. And in there I mentioned that after I'd done the abramelin, everything just went wobbly with my magic, and I kind of rejected everything and took around about 7 years. I focused on my personal life, my work, my business and everything else, and just forgot about magic completely. After you've done this type of working, it's a long working, so it does take a lot out of you. But after you've done that working, you do need a time period to adjust. And if you have a community, especially a community who have been through what you are going through, that you can talk to, they can help you through it, they can guide you and tell you, I had the same difficulties, this is what's happening, this is how you can get through it, then it becomes a lot easier. It's not a case of practices that you can do beforehand in order to kind of divert or remove this process that happens. It is a process, it's a necessary process that happens. So after you've done such a long working, your life is going to it's going to adjust, it's going to change. And that's what really happens. You have done a particular working for 6 months or 18 months or whatever it is, and it's every single day, it's intense, and it does take a lot out of you, but at the same time it rearranges your life, it readjusts it, it changes everything. You are not the same person at the end as you were when you started doing the Rite. And because of that adjustment, you need that time period to actually change with it, to allow yourself to understand what's happened, to allow yourself to understand the changes that have come about. There is no preparation for this because you don't know how your life is going to change. So if you are worried about this change happening, and it can be subtle, and it can be severe. It really can be severe. It could be subtle in the way of your favorite coffee shop closes down, so you have to go and go to a different coffee shop. Or it could be severe in the instance of you lose 99% of your friends, your family rejects you, your wife or your husband divorces you, you move house, and one of your parents dies. Okay, that sounded very specific because it is actually what happened to me. So, yeah. So these things, as I said, can be subtle. They can be severe. So I think the best thing to do is go into this type of working, into this type of long, intense Rite, knowing that an adjustment is going to happen, that a change is going to happen, and knowing that you have to accept it. you are taking the conscious decision to go into that rite, do it, knowing that your life's going to change. So no matter what happens at the end, you've just got to accept it. It is for the best. It may not seem like it half of the time, but those adjustments, the way your life changes, it is for your betterment. And especially when you're doing something like knowledge and conversation with the Holy Guardian Angel, or whatever we want to call it. You're getting union, you're creating union, you're creating yoga with your higher self, your guardian angel. You are uniting Shiva and Shakti. You are bringing yourself into pure consciousness. There are so many different ways we can word this and term this, and we always seem to focus on Crowley's Liber Samek and abramelin operation, and Crowley's knowledge and conversation with the Holy Guardian Angel. You'll find this in almost every single tradition. There's not just one way of doing it, or just two ways of doing it. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ways to attain this. It's all about union with yourself and your higher self, with your lower self and your higher self, or your shadow and your higher self, or your serpent and your guardian angel, your personal daemon and your guardian angel. We can term this in so many ways, it's unbelievable. I'm getting off track. Wait, let me go back. Rewind. Okay, so we were talking about the results, the changes that happen. You have to go into it knowing that there's going to be changes, your life's going to change. It is, however, going to be for the better, because you are creating that union. It's something which is better for you, it is for the betterment of you, and you will develop, you will grow, you will come into yourself, you will become more powerful, you will become more connected. There we go. Because of the union that happens, you become more connected. And actually a bad term, because we are already connected, we just don't have the awareness of that connection. We consider ourselves to be individual from every single thing, whereas we are not. We are connected to everything. We are all the same thing. So through that union, we create more of an awareness of it, and that connection that we have. But yeah, all of these changes happen. Unavoidable. Nothing you can do about it. No way you can prepare for it, except to say, just know that it's going to happen and accept it. Okay. If you don't want those changes to happen, don't do the right in the first place. Really, really as simple as that. Okay, sorry. Let me get onto the second part of that question. Blah blah. Ding. Question 2. Which gods or spirits would you consider the best teachers of magic, or the one who would lead you down the right road at least? Now, considering this is connected to the HGA question, it's a very simple answer. Your holy guardian angel, your higher self, your fetch mate, your holy guardian demon, this entity which is of you and not of you. It really is, that is your best guide, because, I say this entity which is of you and not of you because it depends who you talk to, really. Some people will say that it is part of you, it is your higher self, it is your neshama, but some other people will say it's not, but it's also not separate from you. Bit of a paradox, I know. It's what magic is, it's a paradox. So, you have to really give some thought to it. But that really is the best guide. It's the one that will help you through your life. It's the one who will help you to discover your true will, as Crowley used to put it. And that really is your best direction in life. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to say your HGA, or whatever term, name you want to give it. And obviously, if you do get that union, you do find out you have knowledge and conversation with your holy guardian angel, etc., then you are given a name in order to call your higher self. So you can work directly with that guardian angel, guardian demon, personal demon. We need an overarching term, just one, for this, so I can stop try and use all of them at the same time. All right, so that I think should answer the question. All right, then next is a question from Brian Souza. When someone sells attunement services, is that merely another way of saying invocation, or is there a slight difference? Okay, now when I think of attunement services, I think of Reiki. I do Reiki attunements for people, which means I connect them to the current of Reiki, the energy itself, in order for them to then be able to channel it and heal other people or themselves. So that really for me is attunement. I did ask Brian specifically what he was talking about, and it's actually in terms of these people on Etsy and various other places actually, who are, let me just get to that bit. The further explanation was on Etsy, there are a bunch of occultists who sell spiritual attunements to certain spirits or demons. So it's these people who connect you with a demon or a spirit. I've seen this quite a bit. I actually know of someone who I would consider to be a sound, solid practitioner of the black arts, who actually, it's kind of like a pact, it's kind of like a binding to that particular spirit or demon, and you apparently get your name written in their book, and they keep a log of all the people that have been connected, and you get a personal number, log number or something. It sounds all very weird to me, to be honest. It's definitely not something I would consider doing, either personally or as a service. It's just one of those things. What it makes me actually think of is that people are way too lazy. They're just too lazy to actually do the work themselves. Therefore, they hire somebody to connect them to this demon, so that they can then use that demon and use the energy of that demon in order to get what they want in life. And for me, that's just plain old lazy. If you want to use magic to attain something, then learn it, train, use it that way. Don't think that you can be connected to, or just connected to some kind of demon, and then you can start channeling all this energy. As I said, that's how we do it in Reiki. It's how it's always been done. It's a specific current of energy that you get attuned to, get connected to. But even in that instance, although we go through a ceremony of attunement or initiation, if you want to call it that, with Reiki itself, not everybody needs that attunement. In many instances, it is kind of giving you a permission. You feel feeling like you're being given permission to actually use it, to actually work with it. But it's not entirely necessary. You can tap into an energy stream or a current by yourself. But this initiation, these attunements, they kind of like are these ceremonies that kind of give us permission in order to use it, and therefore we think, now we're connected, now we can use it. You can actually tap into these currents by yourself without these initiations, attunements, and things like that. You know, when you are joining a group, a magical group, an organization, a coven, some kind of group which has an initiation process, that sort of initiation is a welcoming into the family. It is also quite often a connection to the egregore of that group, and through that connection to that egregore, you are connected with everybody and connected with the collective knowledge. You can access it, you can tap into it. Those kind of situations are a bit more difficult to tap into because the egregore is usually protected. But you know, these people who are saying that they will do a rite and kind of connect your energy to the demon so that you can then channel it and work with the demon directly, I can see how it could work, but at the same time, I think we should all be trying to do it ourselves, which is why I prefer to teach. I would prefer everybody who listens to me to learn how to do it themselves. It gives you an empowerment. You can take the easy road, the lazy road. You can just, you know, get somebody to just connect you to the energy, and that's it. But there, you know, that comes along with problems because you are not then prepared for it. You are not trained for it, and you haven't been through the whole process of that preparation and training, and getting to that place yourself where you are working with that demon, and you know what you're doing. You are just being thrown, your energy is just being thrown there and connected, and this demon comes along and goes, here I am, what the fuck do you want? And you've got no preparation. And a lot of people, they find it works. It does work. I've seen testimonies which are very, very positive. But as I said, I prefer to teach. I prefer to empower people, and so that they can actually do it themselves. And it's valuable. That is valuable. I mean, you do, as I said, you get that empowerment. It's kind of like the teacher who leads you to the door, and they can help you to open the door, but they cannot step through with you. Very often they will open the door with you and then they'll just push you through. But they can't go through the door with you. You know, the difference there is that the teacher has taught you everything you need to know and understand, so that when they do push you through the door, you've got the tools in order to be able to handle it. What these people are doing is they are just taking people who are not trained, and they are taking that person's energy, connecting it to something, and they're not prepared. And I do think that in a lot of cases this could lead to some very difficult and bad results. As I said, I've seen testimonies which are very positive. The problem there is that we don't see all the testimonies. A lot of people who get negative results will probably think that there's something wrong with themselves, and they won't leave a testimony. You know, on Etsy we can't actually delete the reviews and things like that. But I don't know. Just my personal opinion, really. I would rather teach people and empower them to be able to do it themselves, rather than just taking the easy, lazy road and connecting to them to something that they're not prepared for. That's really just me. Okay, I've been rambling, I think, and I think I've answered the question, so I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you on Friday If you would like to join us on the Black Hat chat, please do so. If you're listening on the podcast, this podcast does get released a few hours before. Yeah, it's about 4 hours before the Black Hat chat starts. It's the live chat show. This week we are talking about healing. We did do a previous Black Hat chat show about healing, so we'll probably add some more information and some different methods and such things. Right, so if you can join us for that on Friday, 5 p.m. GMT, you can come along with your questions and your queries and comments and leave them in the live chat. We love the interaction from the chat and the questions that come in. So join us for that. All right. Otherwise, have a good one. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.